Hey, I'm your host, Lindsay Lyman. I've spent the past 11 years at one of the largest tech companies in the world. My goal is to be the EQ leader for those working in high IQ tech settings. Because without solutions to deal with the constant reorgs, bad managers, and that hum of anxiety, you're one escalation away from losing it. But there's an easier way, and I can show you how. Let's go! Today I want to talk about what do you do when you get feedback you don't agree with. For many of us, it's the time of year where we're getting our reviews and feedback from our performance from last year. And there really are times where we get feedback that we're just like, really? For me, I've seen this happen in kind of two ways. Either it's feedback that comes out of the blue that you are so shocked and surprised by, or it's feedback that you just fundamentally disagree with. Now, I think if it's feedback you're getting out of the blue, this is actually telling us a lot about your leader, your manager, and kind of some gaps they may have. In my opinion, if you are honestly leading your team on a consistent basis, they should not be surprised. Anything you share in a yearly review should not come out of the blue. It should be things that you guys have talked about. And if it is a surprise, either one, you haven't been having honest conversations you need to be having more frequently throughout the year, or two, you didn't do your homework and you needed something and you made it up and you missed the mark. I've seen it both ways. So today I want to talk about what do you do when this happens to you? Because it can be infuriating. I get it. I've been there. So I'm going to walk you through what I think you should do and then use two examples throughout the course of this podcast to kind of show those examples in real life application. Let's say you get some feedback that you need to improve your storytelling and be more strategic with data insights. And let's say that this is maybe the first time you're hearing this feedback. And in fact, you maybe have some contradictory feedback from stakeholders or partner teams you work with saying that you're doing just that. You are adding data insights and doing very well at your job. Or another example is, let's say that you are a leader and you get feedback that you are working in a silo and that your team or your peers aren't really sure what you do. And leadership wants you to have more of a presence across the team. And maybe this rubs you wrong because maybe you do your best work a little more independently, and maybe you're in a leadership position where you have things to go and deliver and you participate with your team, but it's not your team's job to know the ins and outs of what you do. And so, it just kind of rubs you wrong. So these are just two examples. I'm sure you could fill in your own. But if you get some feedback you don't agree with, the first thing you need to do is acknowledge how you feel about it. Are you angry? Are you frustrated? Are you pissed? Are you confused? Like, what is going on? How do you feel as you think about this feedback you disagree with? Because we want to get really clear on why it's a problem. Here's some of the common things I hear as to why people think it's a problem. And spoiler alert, I don't think this is the real problem for when we get feedback we don't agree with, but more to come on that in a minute. So usually people tell me, well, if we get feedback we don't agree with, it's a problem because it's important for others to know the truth. We want to get credit for our work. Maybe the future of our job success, our promotions, the scope, the opportunities depends on this feedback. So it's really important we get it clear and accurate and right, and then we get everyone on the same page. Maybe it's a problem because that's not the feedback you've been getting all along, and now you don't know if you can trust anything anyone is saying. You've lost your psychological safety. You're so caught off guard. You're so confused by this feedback that now you're just questioning all of it. Sometimes it's a problem because it's not fair. And then we start to worry and our minds spin and spiral in worst case scenario. And in our heads, maybe logically, we can talk ourselves out of it, but emotionally, we get super worried that we're going to get managed out. We're going to get fired because this feedback feels so contradictory to what you know is true that now you have no safety that you have job security because you're good at it, because now you think others are questioning it. Maybe it's a problem because you're worried it's going to be part of your work history performance and future managers or future teams will be able to see this feedback, and it's not true. Why I actually think it's a real problem is because if you're showing up to work with the intent of proving the feedback wrong, it's never going to go well. Because if your intent is to prove the opposite, sometimes even just in the subtleties of what you do, it comes across as disingenuous and you not actually just delivering and doing your job, but you trying to kind of manipulate and control how people feel and think about you. Let's take that leader feedback example of needing to have more of a presence across the team. If you disagree with this feedback, but you're trying to grow and learn and you hear the feedback and you're trying to apply it, yet in your bones, in your core, you don't agree with it, you might show up to the meetings and make comments to be heard, but those comments may not really be adding value. You might just be saying things so that people see you and so that you can tell yourself, I participated. Maybe you're going to pop in and pop out of meetings and not say anything, but be there just to give some quote unquote FaceTime to things. Maybe you're going to show up to the meeting and have a little bit of banter back and forth with the team and then multitask through the entire meeting. When your intent is to prove the feedback wrong versus your intent of actually truly wanting to shift or change something, it doesn't land well. I have a whole other podcast episode dedicated to this, but when you're only focused on the intent and you're not optimizing to the impact, it never lands. So there's a couple reasons why it's really hard when you get feedback that you disagree with. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not crazy. You're allowed to be frustrated and confused and angry and annoyed. I get it. The reason we have such a hard time with this is a couple things. One, your brain wants to be right. It is constantly looking for evidence and data and validation to prove itself right. So when you get feedback saying you need to improve your storytelling with your data insights, your brain is going to go to work, and every time you think you do that well, it's going to highlight it and show you how it's not being recognized, how the problem is them, not you. It keeps fighting to be right. We also have a hard time with this because trying to tell yourself or have others tell you the opposite of what you believe is true makes your brain go to work twice as hard to believe its original thought. So for example, let's say you're frustrated because you were being put up for promotion and it didn't happen for whatever reason. And your manager comes and says, this was great. You've done a lot of great things. People have acknowledged that. Next time it's going to go through. We just need to work on X, Y, and Z. If you were convinced your promo should have gone through, having your manager say, it's okay, next time it'll go through, usually is going to make you twice as frustrated and annoyed because your brain believes it should have happened. It's also hard because we want people to see our side of things and not just see our side of things, but agree with us. Remember, your brain wants to be right. It's seeking that validation. The more people we can get on board to our side, the more we can be on the same page, the safer your brain thinks it is. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with you if you found yourself in this situation where you're really just stuck with some feedback you disagree with. Your brain is a beautiful thing. It is functioning as it should. Okay, so what should you do? 3 things. 1, allow yourself to be mad and angry, like feel it. Remember the first thing I said is you got to know, how are you feeling? What you resist will persist. Get pissed. Get angry, get upset. Go feel those feelings. Process them. Allow your body to experience them. Get angry. Feel them in healthy ways. I've talked about this a lot on how to feel your emotions, but you've got to get out of your head and in your body and go feel that anger, feel that frustration, feel that resentment, whatever it is. Give your brain permission to feel it. Work with your brain. It is your best asset. It wants to be right. It is totally fine to feel any feeling. Let it be there. Work with your brain. Don't try to pull it out of being frustrated. Go all in on being frustrated. Okay? Once you've done that, the second thing to do, get out of the weeds and look at the bigger picture. Okay, so if the feedback you got, again, we disagree with this feedback, but if the feedback is you need to work on your storytelling through data, what is the bigger picture? If you're in the weeds, your brain is going to obsess over every time you did do this, you did provide data and gave the business insight. Look at the bigger picture. Bigger picture, they want you to lead more and sell them on more ideas. They want more of your smart brain. Let's go give it to them, okay? Bigger picture. That's some good feedback. You have great insight. They want more of it. We're getting out of the weeds and looking at the bigger picture on the leader, having more of a presence. Having a presence is more about helping the team feel led and supported, not just physically, but emotionally available. It's not going to a meeting and getting some FaceTime and adding a comment is very tactical. That's in the weeds. It's not going to solve the problem. Look at the bigger picture. How can you help lead the team in a stronger way so that we feel like a highly functional, cohesive team and that we're being led and inspired by that leader? Look at the bigger picture. So if you get feedback you disagree with, first, allow yourself to be mad and angry. Feel it all. Second, get out of the weeds and look at the bigger picture of that feedback. And third, you get to decide for yourself what you want to make it mean. Choose it on purpose. Now, you have to do this after you've allowed your brain to be mad and angry. If you try to go and decide you want to make it mean something beautiful and wonderful, and you haven't given your brain permission to be like, yep, you're right. Your brain is going to fight twice as hard to prove why it wants to be mad and angry. Go be mad and angry. Then decide what you want to make it mean. Here's some of the things I've decided to make some of the feedback I disagree with after I've felt all the emotion that comes up from it. It's things like, I know the truth. And what's important is that I believe in me, not them. I don't know about you, but in my 20-year plus corporate experience, companies have no problem letting you go the second they're done with you. I'm not putting my faith in the company. I'm putting my faith in me. I believe in my ability to figure it out. It's okay if they don't get it. I'm a complicated person. Not everyone gets me. I don't even get me. It's okay. I know the truth and I believe in me. Another thought I choose to make it mean is it's okay that they're wrong about this. It's not a big deal. I'm not worried. I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep being me. I think what I'm doing is right. Another thought I like to believe when I get feedback that's like way out of left field and contradictory to some of the feedback I've gotten from other teams or other stakeholders is I just choose to believe they didn't have any real feedback on what I should improve on. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Thinking of it this way feels so much better. So now when I'm doing my job, I'm not working from that creepy space of trying to prove their feedback wrong. I'm just doing my job. Decide for yourself what you want to make this feedback mean. What do you want to gain from it? It's okay for them to be wrong. It's all right. You know the truth. Put your belief in the truth and in you. Let people be wrong about you. You will gain significantly more value, more impact, more fulfillment, focusing on delivering and doing your job than focusing your mental and emotional energy on getting people to understand your side of things and to believe you. It's okay for people to be wrong about you. When you know the truth, nothing can stop you or hold you back. So remember, if you find yourself in this situation or you get feedback you don't agree with, 3 steps to deal with it. 1, allow yourself to feel whatever comes up. 2, get out of the weeds and look at the bigger picture. And then 3, decide for yourself what you want to make it mean. All right, friends, I hope you're getting some amazing feedback in there as well, because you're doing a lot of things extremely well. And we don't notice it because sometimes it just seems so intuitive and so second nature to us. So tell yourself good job today. I'm a fan of yours. You're amazing. You got this. We'll talk soon. If you listen to this podcast and feel heard and seen for the first time in a while, this is just the beginning. I offer a limited number of free coaching calls. On this call, we'll talk about what's going on, and you'll leave with specific ways to start feeling better today. So listen to that inner pull and let's chat. Grab some time on my calendar before I'm booked up. To schedule a call, click the link in the show notes or go to lindsaylymancoaching.com/chat and sign up. You got this.